The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
This is Spider-Man. While that may seem obvious now, following the success of Sony's animated Spider-Verse films, the inclusion of Miles Morales in the world of Marvel Comics and beyond is still relatively new. And yet, in a very short span of time, his popularity and impact on popular culture have skyrocketed, spinning a web that has captured the hearts and attention of readers, gamers, and cinema-going audiences alike. In many ways, Miles is the best version of Spider-Man we've ever seen. And while that may be controversial to say and will surely upset the die-hard webheads who grew up with Peter Parker, there's a strong argument to be made here, and it can really be broken down into three main categories: superpowers, family dynamic, and mentorship. So reload your web shooters and crawl into your spandex as we dissect the differences between Miles Morales and Peter Parker and explore exactly what makes Miles the superior Spider-Man. Miles' popularity with mainstream audiences really began in 2018 with the release of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Insomniac's Spider-Man video game for the PlayStation 4. Miles plays a prominent role in both releases, especially Into the Spider-Verse, which was an instant hit, boasting an impressive 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, raking in over $375 million at the box office, and winning Best Animated Feature at the 2019 Academy Awards. Insomniac's Spider-Man, which features Miles Morales in a supporting role, was also a success, selling over 33 million copies and landing itself on numerous Best Games of the Year lists, including Wired magazine, who listed it in the #1 slot. Just 2 years later, in 2020, Insomniac released Spider-Man Miles Morales, allowing gamers to play as the younger hero and further cementing his place in pop culture. But before all of that, the character first appeared on the pages of Ultimate Comics Fallout No. 4. He exists on Earth 1610, which acts as the setting for the Ultimate Marvel series storyline. And this is where the differences between the two Spider-Men really begin. What's better than having all the powers of Spider-Man? Having all the powers of Spider-Man and more. While Spider-Man has never really been considered among the most powerful characters in Marvel, that's a title likely reserved for the likes of Molecule Man or Beyonder, he's an incredibly balanced hero, perfectly suited for street-level threats and beyond. Peter Parker's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is known for possessing enhanced strength, incredible agility, a spidey sense that alerts him of nearby dangers, and, of course, the ability to scale and climb walls with ease. While Miles possesses all the powers of Peter, the same cannot be said in reverse. The abilities to camouflage himself to the point of invisibility and to utilize an electric charge known as the Venom Strike gives Miles the upper hand when examining the totality of their superhuman strengths. Let's be clear, these aren't minor or insignificant powers. We're talking about literal invisibility, including his clothing, and an electric shock powerful enough to drop the Rhino and even Peter Parker. During their first encounter, Peter attacks Miles and is quickly rendered unconscious by the young hero's unique gift. We see Miles use it against another Spider-Man in Across the Spider-Verse when he utilizes the shock to overpower Miguel O'Hara. The Venom Strike is a source of directed energy capable of affecting temporary paralysis against nearly any adversary and can be delivered from a distance through the use of his webbing. When comparing the two Spider-Men's strengths and abilities, Peter's upper hand stems from his age and experience. Experience is invaluable. At the time of their meeting in the comics, Miles is 13 and Peter is around his early 30s. While Miles is just learning to understand and control his newfound powers, Peter has had roughly 15 years to perfect them. We see throughout the comics and through the films how Miles grows and matures over the years, and with each passing moment gains a better grasp of his abilities. Once Miles gains the double edge of superpowers and experience, he'll be a true force to be reckoned with. Uncle Ben's death is an iconic moment in comic book history, and is as important to Peter Parker's story as the Wayne's murder outside the theater was to Batman. His heartfelt words of wisdom and guidance: "With great power comes great responsibility." And yet, the family dynamic of Miles Morales is far more engaging and relevant to the story than that of Peter's. Miles has both his father, Jefferson Davis, and his mother, Rio Morales, in his life. The two decide to give Miles his mother's name rather than his father's, because they feel the Davis surname was tarnished through the youthful criminal hijinks of Jefferson and his brother Aaron. And this is where the family dynamic really gets interesting. While Jefferson matures and outgrows his criminal past to become a New York City police officer, Aaron goes the opposite direction, embracing his law-breaking ways to eventually become the cat burglar and supervillain known as the Prowler. Miles, despite having a father, sees his uncle Aaron as a father figure, and the two share a close bond. By having these two parental figures each at varying polar ends of a moral spectrum, Miles is forced into uncomfortable and ambiguous situations situations related to what is right and what is wrong. He sees the good in his uncle, despite the horrendous acts of violence his uncle commits, and is forced to face the uncomfortable truth that things aren't always black and white. There is very often a gray area, and navigating that gray area can be a difficult task. Miles is also biracial, having an African-American father and a Puerto Rican mother. Not only does this add a level of inclusivity, allowing young readers from varied ethnic and racial backgrounds to connect to the character in new ways, it allows Spider-Man to experience and view the world through different lenses. Most heroes have a mentor, somebody to show them the ropes, the ins and outs of crime fighting, and explain how to balance the pressures of the superhuman identity with real-world responsibilities. Peter Parker is no different. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he has Tony Stark, and in the comics, he has Reed Richards. They're both geniuses and incredibly accomplished heroes who would make astounding mentors. And yet, Miles has the greatest Spider-Man mentor of all, Spider-Man. Although the two Spider-Men's first meeting resulted in a fight, they quickly became close friends and allies, with the older Spider-Man acting as a mentor to the younger. Although these two versions of the characters originally existed in separate universes within the multiverse, Miles makes the move from Earth 1610 to Earth 616, which is the main Marvel timeline, following the events of Secret Wars. What this means is that a teenage Miles Morales gets to learn how to be Spider-Man from an actual Spider-Man. This is training and experience that Peter Parker never had the opportunity to receive, and as a result, Miles gets a massive head start on his journey to being the best version of himself that he can be. Even prior to Miles being taken under the wing of Peter, he has the guidance and assistance of Nick Fury and the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization, aware of his new powers and the criminal activity of his uncle Aaron. It's S.H.I.E.L.D. who gives Miles his distinct red and black suit, and ultimately accept him as the new, official Spider-Man after that universe's Peter Parker is killed in combat with the Green Goblin. A scene very similar to this is depicted in Into the Spider-Verse. However, in that film, there is no S.H.I.E.L.D., and Kingpin is the one responsible for killing Peter by slamming his massive fists onto his chest just after unmasking him. Then, of course, there's Aunt May, perhaps the most notable influence and mentor to Peter Parker. She is his sole living relative, and she alone guides Peter through the most difficult and confusing moments of his life. We would never try to take anything away from Aunt May or to discredit the significance of the role she plays in Spider-Man's life. We've seen it on the big screen, in the classic animated series, and in the comics, but Aunt May's influence extends beyond just Peter, both in the comics and in the films. Following the death of Peter, Aunt May forms a bond with Miles. In Into the Spider-Verse, Aunt May's home acts as a safe haven for spider people from all corners of the multiverse, and Miles relies heavily on her assistance and guidance to overcome his fears and take on the role of a hero. When looking at the totality of Miles Morales in the world of Spider-Man, especially when compared to Peter Parker, it's hard not to come to the conclusion that he is in fact the superior Spider-Man. He has more superpowers, he has a well-rounded family structure with relatives from diverse backgrounds on either side of the law, and he received guidance from a highly experienced and accomplished Spider-Man. But beyond all of that, Miles Morales is a character that audiences can relate to. He isn't a scientist or a genius. He's an average kid with overprotective parents and the heart and mind of an artist. Kids of all ages can see themselves depicted in him, and it doesn't hurt that the Spider-Verse movies are some of the best Spider-Man films we've ever received. But what do you think? Do you agree that Miles Morales is the greatest Spider-Man of all time? Or do you think nobody can top Peter Parker? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. We'll see you next time.